A Major League podcast of our own is back right here on Hibiki TMD on YouTube or ProWrestlingJournal.com. If you're catching us on both, welcome once again, my man, my co-host for this, our official MLW podcast, the resident Raging Cajun, Mr. Creole himself. What's going on, man? TJ, welcome back.
Yeah, Raging Cajun, I like that. That's University of South Louisiana, so I'm not exactly a Raging Cajun, but I am a little bit Cajun. So, well.
Oh, the food down there is delicious. Either way, I love gumbo and all that shit. Tremendous.
It is great. It's great. We got some coronavirus down here now, so you got to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, that's at least our show's not getting postponed or canceled. Before it does, and we get contract the coronavirus and make fun of a plague going on right now, where can everyone follow you on Twitter and all that stuff?
You can find me on the old Twitter at lawmans_. I've been contemplating changing my name, but I might wait for that. I don't want to upset my fans and my followers, and they don't know who I am anymore, you know?
Plus, you've had a brand going forever. You don't want to mess that brand up.
Oh, I've got a great brand.
It's like when
my name is Brandon from now on.
You don't want to be like when Crockett sold out to Turner and they changed it to WCW and they confused all the NWA diehards and they went away and their ratings shit the bed. No, you want to keep that Lawmans brand raging on because you're Cajun.
Exactly. I can't do that. I can't do that to my fans. My whole 600 followers.
Either way, whether you have 600, 3,000, a million, or two, you can follow me on Twitter at TheHibikTMD. That red button right down below here on YouTube. Hit it, subscribe for all the goodness, retro gaming, pro wrestling, heavy metal podcasts, video game streams, so much nerdy variety, it'll drive you wild. Or, like I said, ProWrestlingJournal.com. Check out these eclectic, fantastic, underrated, fantastic writers assembled here. If it happened in a ring, you can rest assured they're your thing. And they got you covered. Thank you again to Drew Ortman for featuring us here, the official Pro Wrestling Network, Pro Wrestling Journal. TJ, MLW Fusion 100.
Yes. One.
Yep. In the books. That's right. MLW 100's in the books, like we said. But TJ, did it deliver? I mean, for a 100th milestone episode, we were talking off air a little bit. This just kind of felt like another really good episode of Fusion that's not really going to stand out compared to any others.
Yeah, it was a great episode. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. But for, you wanted to do something big for 100. And, I don't know if it delivered for like a big type of, hey, this is our 100th episode. We're going huge here, but it was a fun episode. I enjoyed it.
I did. It was a fun episode. There was lots of variety on it. But do you think in their mind they were delivering that milestone main event and with SEMA in there with Fatu? Because say what you want about SEMA. I know who he is. I'm not the biggest fan of him just because I haven't seen that much of him. I know he's been around forever, but I know there's fans that are diehards of this guy. From if you see him pop up in AEW, people lose their mind. And maybe to those fans, this was a major milestone. But for you and me, I'm with you. And especially, probably my least favorite match on this was the main event, but we'll get there. And that's just the one you said it to me. You texted me earlier, and I found myself doing the same thing. I zoned out during the main event just because that umbrella factor again, where we both probably expected so much more for 100 for a main event. I think that's what maybe took away.
Oh, exactly. You have a 100th episode, and being there, I know how the episodes are filmed. I know how they kind of mismatch or move the matches around, and they don't get put on exactly on TV the way that they are actually done. Maybe they did it wrong this time. Maybe last week's stuff should have been this week's stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that. I could totally, especially with the way last week's episode started. We talked about that whole 25-minute segment that just got so much talent TV time. But say what you want. This one kicked off with another Contra promo, but refreshingly, it seems like someone must have listened to our episode last week that works for MLW, because it was just Jacob Fatu cutting a hell of a little heel promo here. Not long, maybe 30 seconds if that, but it was just refreshing not to see it. Just they shook up the Contra promos a little bit. They didn't have all the guys in there or the mouthpiece, Samael or any of those guys. Just Fatu and right up in the camera's face saying he's going to kick some ass tonight, basically.
Yeah, he was just going like, I'm gonna go kick Shima's ass and I'm gonna have fun doing it and country unit.
Now what this episode did kick off with was Team Filthy coming out. Tom Lawler, Eric Stevens, Kit Osborne with Tom Lawler on commentary, which immediately made me smile knowing that was going to be on there for this match. Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Eric Stevens, which surprised me because I thought this might have been a match they were going to build to, especially from Stevens' debut promo from like 2 weeks ago where he talked about, he's here to wrestle guys like that. No, they shoehorned it right in and say what you want. It was a hard-hitting little match. I wouldn't say it's must-see, but it was a good match. It wasn't amazing by any means, but I feel like, in my opinion, it definitely doesn't make sense with Stevens being a brand new guy to lose like this, unless they're already building to, Tom Lawler kicking him out of the group because he keeps embarrassing the group, which I think that's the route they're going, TJ. But yeah, I mean, Davey Boy Smith with the Duke, that nice stalling vertical suplex like his dad was tremendous. And just that intensity of Davey Boy Smith Jr. is kind of that Drew Galloway effect where he had to go away to find himself from WWE. He's totally not 100% reinvented himself with a look, but just how he works, he's reinvented himself. So much intensity now. This is not D.H. Smith from WWE at all anymore.
No, you know what? I enjoy this match. It's like there was nothing like memorable about it, but it was a fun match. And Davey Boy, he had the upper hand for the most part through the beginning. Then Eric Stevens came back and he did a lot of trying to submit Davey Boy, and it all worked. I mean, I thought it was fun. I did not know who that dude in Eric Stevens' corner was, by the way.
Kid Osborne. I thought it was 2013 Heath Slater for a second. I had to do a double take.
I was like, who the fuck is that guy right there?
Ever since
throwing his hat.
Ever since the Dallas tapings, Team Filthy's been all about the glittery Motley Crue cowboy hats for some reason, because the Von Erich feud, obviously.
Oh yeah, and Filthy Tom was wearing this hat the entire time. Fun fact, by the way, AJ Kirsch, who is one of the commentators for MLW, he was Buzz in WWE 2K19.
Well, look at that. Look at that fun fact right there. Only here you're going to hear fun facts like that.
Yeah, completely nerdy fun facts like that.
The promo we didn't even talk about before the match with Davey Boy Smith Jr., he kind of reminded me, he's cutting promos like Sid Vicious did in a way, where it's like this intense whispering and then like screaming out of nowhere and then whispering again, talking softly. He's got that crazy I'm a part of the Hart family look in his eye too. Very, very disturbing promo with Davey Boy Smith Jr., I gotta say. But yeah, what do you think about this booking here, Stevens? Does it make sense to you, or do you think, like I think, like they're going to him being kicked out of Team Filthy already and going back to babyface with Stevens?
I don't like it. I think Stevens is a great talent. I think he's got a lot that he can do, and they need to book him a little bit better than getting beat up by Davey Boy and then losing cleanly like that.
Pretty decisively.
I think he's got a lot of great talent.
Not even just the finish. The way the match was worked also kind of made Stevens look inferior throughout most of it, especially in like that towards the end, that little showdown with the forearm shots back and forth, the strong style receipts. Davey Boy Smith just kept landing them, and it got to a point where Stevens was like punch drunk and couldn't even like hit him back, and it wasn't a good look for Eric Stevens' character at all, especially as this tough kickboxing guy or whatever.
Oh, exactly. I felt that way throughout the whole match. It was Davey Boy just beat the shit out of him, and then it took like halfway through the match, but before Stevens even got any offense in.
Yeah.
And it was like, you can't book this dude like this. This guy's really fucking good, And
the way they've been building this guy for weeks, almost months, dare I say, with these little, Eric Stevens is coming, thought he's just going to come in and demolish the roster, but he's already a lackey. Already.
He's already jobbing at Davey Boy Smith.
And Davey Boy Smith, he wouldn't have been hurt by a loss here. Say what you want. It's MLW. Davey Boy Smith's kind of like I don't want to say a made man, but he's not going to lose credibility in a small promotion like MLW like that. He's always going to get
At
good
least,
heat and good reactions because he's a name.
at least give him the cheap win to where
That,
the refs distracted and Filthy comes in and distracts Davy Boy and he gets the win. I mean,
or
all you need
even you
to do.
do that and there's a miscue, say, and Tom Lawler accidentally hits Eric Stevens or the guy with Lawler accidentally or something like that, and that's how Davey Boy Smith Jr. If you want to get Davey Boy Smith Jr. over that bad, just have a miscue like that, and then that could lead to the breakup. Then
Yes, not a clean pin like he had.
that's what they did, man. And we got your favorite out, well, both of our favorite out there by the end of it. Dominic out there, and the little tussle and the breakup, the pull apart. Very interesting to see where this goes, I guess. And I'm sure Davey Boy Smith will have back. It's just going to lead to 6-man tags with Davey Boy and the Von Erichs. That's all this is going to lead to for now, I feel like.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Up,
Unfortunately,
up next, Injustice can't get in the building. They're not allowed in because nobody recognizes them. Nobody can tell they're pro wrestlers.
which is funny to me.
When you
Just
told me,
knowing how they film the shows,
it's like the day
that's
after,
funny.
right? They shoot these.
Yes,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I laughed at it.
When
I
you
thought it was great.
when you told me in our group chat on Twitter earlier that Jordan Oliver's voice sounds like a Muppet baby, now it's like that's my receipt when I ruined Eric Stevens for you, saying he's the love child of like Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black. So touche.
He does. I can't help it. It's like Beaker or one of those Muppet Babies.
But yeah, for some reason, guys on the roster can't get in the building. At first I thought it was amusing, but then the more I'm thinking about it, like, why? Why can't they get in? One of them's a champ, for Christ's sakes.
Well, I mean, it's funny to me because I've been to the shows. I know how they film them, and it's just like, all right, he was already in the building
For episode
for his
1.
other match.
For last week's episode, Injustice was there.
Yes,
What the
he was
fuck?
already in the building for episode 99, and that match was probably filmed after
Yeah.
the episode 100 stuff.
God.
So it's funny to me, but
Court Bauer must buy the best weed from Conan. That's all I'm saying, man.
he has to.
God. But for what it was, it's what it was. Up next, a Jimmy Havoc promo. If you've ever seen a Jimmy Havoc promo, these are all completely the same. I mean, that's not to say it was bad, but literally, man, every fucking Jimmy Havoc promo is like this. I gotta be honest.
Dude, I got a very ECW vibe from it. Like we were talking about last week with their promos.
Yeah.
This one was like he was standing in front of like a building, and the video was grainy, and he's talking about I'm gonna kill Brian Pillman. I got a very ECW vibe from it.
With that like graphic, like that static effect. And the next promo up too was LA Park, and I got that feeling too. It's not that they put an effect on it, but they shot LA Park in front of like a sliding shutter door, which was just reminded me of ECW too.
I don't know, the LA Park promo was all like, I'm a free man, I'm gonna do what I want now. So I'm guessing he's not with like Selena De La Renta anymore.
I think they're pretty much done with him too, being like the one of the top guys, and he's more of an attraction now. He's done. I mean, what more can this guy do in MLW? Let's be honest.
Have bad matches like he did last week.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of bad matches, this wasn't one of them. Brian Pillman Jr. My God, this crowd loved them some Pillman Jr. Jimmy Havoc. One-on-one match, no disqualification for some reason. I guess if Jimmy Havoc's in it, it's automatically no disqualification, TJ. I don't fucking know. Is that like Ravens rules, I guess?
I don't know. I guess if you're if you're in a Jimmy Havoc match, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm surprised this wasn't like a death match, and we actually got to see some actual wrestling from Jimmy Havoc.
I feel like, and we're only 3 episodes in, and I feel awful. I feel so terrible, TJ. You know why? I've let every listener of the show down already. I've let every MLW fan out there right now, what little of us there are. You know why? Because I looked high and dry. to make Brian Pillman Jr.'s theme our intro music for this week's episode, and you can't fucking find it yet. MLW, get on it. Give us that sweet gem of a theme song.
Oh, his music is great.
I really thought it was like just one of his dad's old themes from WCW, but no, somebody took the time to like kind of make it like that, and it's an original track, but it's impossible to find right now. But I will do it one day, I promise.
And it sounds like old, like 80s, 90s types of
porn music.
Yeah, or not porn music.
It does.
Come on, man.
It does. Bow, bow.
It sounds like
bow, bow.
Good old 80s, 90s intro music for a wrestler.
Man, but someday it's coming. So maybe by episode like 26, if we're still doing it by then, we'll have that sweet Pillman Jr. theme. This match surprised me. This may be Jimmy Havoc. A lot of people don't realize he can work. He's from that Wigan British school system over there. He came up over there in that Billy Robinson-esque, he can do that. He's just chosen to go a different route. Just like Mick Foley. He was trained old school by Dominic DeNucci. Trained with Shane Douglas. He just chose to become a hardcore wrestler. It's some of the best in-ring I've seen in Havoc in a long time. I got to be honest. There's some nice transitions, all that stuff.
I completely agree. The first part, it was just them doing technical wrestling, doing throws, doing lockups. And I was actually kind of impressed by Jimmy Havoc because I always thought he was just a deathmatch guy. I didn't think that he could really, go like that in a match, but he did, and it surprised me. And this match was fucking great.
It was pretty good. And then I said it earlier, what a reaction for Pillman Jr. And that's crazy. They say you said they shot it out of order, but last week he was on the episode. I want to think that he came out before his match. Like that was the correct order. I want to think. Like that commentating.
Yeah, probably. And like I told you in the text, this Pillman Jr. turned to me. It brought me over to, yes, Brian Pillman Jr. needs to be the face of MLW.
I've been watching this guy for at least a year. I found out about this kid about a year ago that he was a work, and it blew my mind that, Brian Pillman had a son, obviously, so I had to check him out. And what I saw like a year ago, not even, in a year, this kid has learned to play to the crowd, to slow down his shit, to use just pacing and storytelling. I've seen so much just in a year or two, and that's the scary part, how young he is. He's gotten really good, and I'm with you. It's time to pull the trigger on him soon. You can't keep relying. As much as I love him, man, he's one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. You can't keep relying on an L.A. Park or Davey Boy Smith Jr. Eventually, some big promotion, like it or not, is going to want Jacob Fatu. Somebody's going to want him. He's too good not for someone to steal him. Agree?
Oh yeah, I completely agree with that. He won't be in MLW that long. You
got to pull the trigger on Pillman. You got to do it. If you want to get some fucking buzz on MLW, this is a guy who's been on AEW. Like a lot of this roster. I don't know if they can legally or copyright-wise, but it blows my mind they don't use that more in their shows sometime, especially with like MJF and the AEW show, just Jimmy Havoc and the AEW. You know what I mean? Anything at this fucking point. You give your shows away for free as it is. Try to make some money now, And
I think Pillman's going there. I don't know. I was watching that match, and I've always been a little bit down on Pillman because it seemed like he relied on the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
But this, I don't know. This was like, oh man, this is like his breakout. This dude is fucking awesome.
I look at him surrounded by Teddy and Davey Boy Smith Jr. as training wheels, and I feel like those are off now and they're not needed. Obviously, there's something here, and if you don't see it, you don't know wrestling. I feel like this guy literally, you can't take your eyes off Brian Pillman Jr. It's not just the mullet. It's not just the mullet, guys. Is it fair to say that MLW is kind of turning into the farm system or the NXT of AEW? In a way.
Maybe, yeah. It's kind of being like a farm system for the bigger promotions. But, I don't know. That's a tough question. I know they're looking at MLW and wanting these guys, but at the same time, I'm gonna throw back to when I interviewed Ace Austin. Shameless plug there. And how he said that he wants to do his own thing. He wants to build his own rep in the smaller promotions and then get that bigger paycheck with WWE or AEW.
On his terms, like an AJ Styles.
On his terms. AJ Styles. Yes, exactly. And maybe we could be seeing that with guys like Pillman and Hammer. I don't know. But all I know is that Pillman impressed me tonight. I turned a corner on him, and he is the face of MLW right now. You need to put all the belts on him.
I'm glad I took the time to write this down because I would have forgot. I thought Priscilla Kelly broke her nose when she took that spill to the outside. I don't know if you remember that spot. It was the finish of the match. It was like she was on the apron. Havoc accidentally ran into her for the distraction. She took a tumble off the apron, but it looked like she fell. And when she hit her nose, like in between the mat and the concrete, just splat. But thankfully, it didn't look like she hurt it. It just looked nasty.
Oh, when Pillman pulled the rope down and she went over?
Yeah. That spot. My bad.
Well, Priscilla Kelly fucked up Havoc quite a few times in that.
I think they're teasing that breakup too on commentary a lot. But I mean,
Well,
why? Why? I mean, that for me, I'm not a huge Priscilla Kelly fan at all, but I feel like those two are made for each other, you know?
Oh, I love them two together, but I don't understand why they're together.
It's just constant need since the beginning of time, TJ, that promoters always feel the need to break up these teams or valets or managers that make fucking sense. Every time.
It's like all of a sudden Priscilla Kelly is the manager of Jimmy Havoc. Where do they even come from?
Yeah. It is what it is. Would you say this was the best match of the episode?
Yes, I would.
I'm with you. Same.
I enjoyed it. I've actually got a lot of fucking notes written about it, but we'll go on.
Oh, fire away, man. If there's anything else you'd like to add to the match, by all means. That's why we're here.
I like how at the end Alicia Toot was interviewing him, and he's talking about Myron Reed, and he calls him a flaming head hot Cheeto ass.
I love how we both wrote that down because I have it right here on mine.
That was hilarious.
Yep. Is Myron Reed like a sibling or a descendant or a relative of Butch Reed or his son? Because I want to believe that's true so bad.
Sure, yes.
The natural Myron Reed.
He is. Let's go for it.
All right. From now on, he's the natural Myron Reed on this show. Don't tell me otherwise. Dynasty time, TJ.
Wait, no.
Oh, that's right. You had more notes. My bad.
No, we had a promo with the Monterey Kid.
Oh, that's right. The Monterey Jack Kid
is going against Myron Reed for the middleweight championship next week. The Monterey Kid.
Damn it.
AKA the Laredo Kid.
I wish I didn't fuck up my segue earlier because I would have gone, break out the crackers, the Monterey Kid's in the house. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's winning the belt at all.
Nah. It's like I said last week, it's gonna be three-way stuff between him, Pillman, and Myron Reed.
I feel like this division holds Pillman back, and that goes back to what we were saying earlier. He doesn't even need to be in this division. This needs to just be your X division, flat out. It's basically what it is.
Well, they made a big deal constantly about him cutting weight to be in the middleweight division instead of being in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, so that sucks because that means he's not going to be anywhere near that heavyweight title for a while then, if they're playing that out then. Oh, well. Hopefully our boy Hammerstone can get in there, or Richard Holiday by year's end, be the world heavyweight champion, because they were up next this time. The Dynasty promo, just hanging out. Was it Holiday's house or one of their mansions, just chilling, on recliners. And we saw another tease, maybe, some seeds planted of a breakup here, TJ, talking about, and it was hilarious, by the way, talking about the Puerto Rican title at first, that Richard Holiday holds, talking about it was, now it's officially the most prestigious title. And then Hammerstone interrupts, hold on, you mean like 1A or 1B, right? Because, obviously Hammerstone's a champion too, so I thought that was great.
No, I like that. I mean, I like you can see the little bit of tension between Holiday and Hammerstone, but at the same time, just their, oh man, I love Dynasty vignettes. I think they're great. I think they're hilarious. But one homeboy needs to go.
Yeah. By the end of this, pass the mic, and they passed the mic to Gino Medine, and it was awful. It was broken English and bad timing on jokes, and he was, God bless his soul, he was trying. It's not like he was phoning it in or just cashing a check. No, he was trying. It's just we're not there yet at all.
Oh yeah, you could see it. You could watch it. You could see he's trying so fucking hard, but it's just not working.
And it was kind of sad too. It kind of felt like watching this while he was trying to cut this promo. You could see like Holiday kind of like coaching him along in the promo, saying shit.
Probably Hammer did.
Like his mentor, on-screen mentor, and his on-screen English coach too. If anything, man, out of all three of them, as big as a fan I am of Holiday, the one that came off as the most money was Hammerstone in this. Absolute motherfucking money every time this guy's on my screen. It's unbelievable how big of a future this dude has. That's not even the mark in me saying that.
Oh, the mark in me is saying that Hammerstone is a fan. I'm a Hammerstone mark.
No. Just...
you know that, right? I'm a Hammerstone mark.
Everything this guy does, man, just radiates cool. He's just one of those guys. He reminds me of like a Kevin Nash, where like everything Kevin Nash did, he made it cool. Like even the hair flip and shit. You know what I mean? Like just the total package of coolness is Hammerstone.
Oh, I could do a whole show talking about Hammerstone and how much I think he's great.
That'd have to be like a 4-parter, I'm sure.
It would be.
But yeah, I don't even have to ask you what you thought about this. We're both in agreement. Medina needs to either just be, just look pretty in the backdrop and be like there and silent killer or what the fuck ever, and let these guys do all the talking. Pretty much that's all I got to say about it.
Let's go with, so how did you think that was without MJF?
Got to be honest, last episode I said I felt like there was a void missing. In this, it wasn't really noticeable because Hammerstone and Holiday just nailed it to a T in this so well for me.
I agree 100% right there.
Yeah, honest to God, didn't even really notice. That's the first, honestly, I've even really thought about it just now. Because maybe I'm coming to terms with finally also that MJF's, officially gone. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Speaking of good promos, Mansa up next.
Yep.
Moonshine that looked like piss, and Jesus Christ, the wasted old man. My God, this is a Mance Warner promo and then some.
Yeah, that was his Uncle Moonman. I remember seeing him a while back in promos, and then he kind of disappeared. And then a couple of weeks ago, Dynasty beat the shit out of Moonman. And I was like, wait, is that Mancer's uncle that used to be there? And apparently it was.
Every time I see him, I'm like, what's Jerry Jarrett doing here? Unbelievable.
Drinking moonshine.
Jerry and Jeff making their own moonshine that looks like pee. And then Alicia, right, doing the interview? She smelled it. She fucking smelled it. It looked just like piss. Blew my mind. Oh.
Hey, don't talk about my girl Alicia.
God bless MLW. No, this was fucking great. This was Mance Warner in a nutshell. If you've never seen Mance Warner, I feel like this would be a key promo to start with, TJ.
Oh, he cuts great promos. I mean, you can't go wrong with his. They're funny. They're I don't know, relevant. They're just they're good. They're good.
He's got a slight Dusty Rhodes thing going about him where he holds you with every word almost. I got to be honest.
And the thing is, he says the same thing every fucking promo, but you're still hooked on it.
Yeah. It's that pro wrestling, man. Pro wrestling. Boom. We go from the mountaintops of a Mance Warner promo to the trenches of another goddamn bland Contra promo, quite honestly. More of the fucking same. I jinxed it earlier.
Yeah, they were talking about like having a war or something and having like soldiers. I don't know.
And when he said that during this, I'm thinking, with who? Who the fuck they gonna have a war with?
I don't know. I mean, who are they feuding with right now?
No boy.
I mean, it's about time for a Contra unit to break up, and they all do their own things.
Who's the other, like, because we're assuming there's no more Heart Foundation. Who's the other even relevant babyface stable right now? There are none. It would just be a mishmash of random babyfaces on a team.
Uh, uh, uh
Except for like
Airwolf,
Zenshi and
and
yeah, the Luchador guys, but that's it, right?
yeah, I don't see anybody else.
Yeah, this does nothing for me. Just doesn't.
No.
You know what angle I'd love to see this year is for Fatu to turn babyface. As much as that feels weird to say, just drop the whole Contra thing by the end of the year. Do something. He doesn't even have to be a babyface. Just get him away from Contra.
Well, Contra needs to just break up. They just need to all go their separate ways.
They just need to run an angle this year where, like, if Contra loses, they have to leave MLW. It's simple, old school. It works. It's an excuse to write them off. Boom.
Yes.
And that leads to the main event. MLW World Heavyweight Title match. Defending champ Jacob Fatu, CIMA. The entrances were cool. I mean, I'm like you, dude. I zoned out. I tried to get into this match, but while watching it, we talked about it earlier, it just felt like this should have been such a bigger main event. It took a lot out of it for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, I have like for my notes, I have like a total of 10 words.
What were those 10 words?
Well, first of all, Fatu versus CIMA. Why? I mean, what is the point of this match? Why does CIMA get a world title match? You know, what was going on that predicated him jumping the line of like everybody to get a world title match?
I'm assuming because it's a much smaller promotion like an MLW and it's run in Philly, a bigger city and a bigger market, it's an excuse to get asses in the seats. You know what I mean? And because he has some, not a lot, but some sort of buzz from being on AEW a lot last year, I guess they felt in their mind that was a bigger name and he didn't really need a reason to get a belt. Just like almost any other indie show does this shit sometimes, you know, and especially for a Milestone Fusion 100, you know, well, let's get a big name in there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but why narrative-wise? That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. That fun fact, I didn't even know this till I heard it on commentary. I did not know CIMA was MLW champ in 2002, its very first year. Look at that. That's how long this guy's been doing it.
Well, there you go. There is the reason for him to get a championship match.
I guess I just unintentionally tied the bow on that.
Yes, you did.
That's crazy though, man. And it goes back to our very first episode on here, how, you know, MLW took a break, but really it's like a fucking 17, 18 year legacy in reality at this point. Unreal.
Yeah, and it's hopefully gaining steam again now.
Obviously, Fatu retains in this. You know, we're not crowning a new champ here. I honestly, dude, I have no clue where we'd go with Fatu next unless you go... And you'd make, like we said last episode again, you change his attire, you make him somewhat cool. Logan Creed could be a contender. Pillman Jr., obviously. But other than that, no clue what to do with Fatu.
Well, I mean, Pillman already had the opportunity at the belt, and he lost.
Yeah.
They've made Fatu as being this unbeatable monster. I don't know what you do with him. I don't know how you get the belt off of him. I don't know who would get the belt off of him.
Davey Boy? I don't know. No clue. But
Old
Manser is possible. But I am intrigued to see who does that. And I'm intrigued at another 100 episodes of MLW Fusion. And hopefully 100 episodes from now, it's a hell of a lot more watched than it is now. And hopefully it's up there with the buzz that NWA Power gets, because both are basically the same in the same goddamn place, and it's unreal. It's going to be a dead horse. We keep saying, I can't imagine why so many people watch NWA, not MLW. Just not getting it.
Oh, I don't get it either. MLW is my favorite promotion right now. I absolutely love it. I mean, they have their hits and misses.
Misses.
They have their hits and misses. But they don't disappoint for me.
I wish we could have got more of the Von Erichs on this episode too, instead of just that, you know, little thing backstage where they didn't even talk. They were just with Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah, they're just like confirming that, hey, we're with Davey Boy and we're going against Team Filthy.
Yep. Next week, though, we got Gino Medina and Mance Warner on the agenda. Looking forward to that. That's it. That's Fusion 100. What do you grade the 100th milestone edition of Fusion, TJ?
I'm gonna give it a solid B. I mean, I enjoyed the first match, the second match, and the vignettes. The main event disappointed, which seems to be a usual thing right now. But I give it a solid B.
I'm gonna have to go maybe a B plus, possible A minus, somewhere in there. But just because I still feel like MLW does such a better job than Raw, SmackDown at getting so many guys exposed, shooting vignettes, getting characters developed in 1 hour than these fucking guys can do in 3. I don't know what it is about MLW. They just seem to streamline this shit and they get all the guys over they want to get over each week. And tip of the hat to do that in an hour in this day and age, especially with attention spans the way they are.
Oh, exactly right.
Yeah. I'm glad everyone's... Go ahead.
No, I was saying exactly right. And it's like, I mean, like with MLW, you get 3 matches for each episode, and then the vignettes and everybody selling selling each other and doing promos in between. So it really works.
It does, and hopefully they keep up the way this is formatted, and if they continue to do this, I'll continue to be a huge fan of MLW. And I thank all you guys since we've debuted this show for you seem to be huge fans of this. You're digging it. You're enjoying this. And I'm enjoying doing this with you, TJ. Before we do, one more time, where can everyone follow you on Twitter?
Do I need to do my usual promo where they can't follow me?
Well, if you don't keep doing it, we can't get a t-shirt made that way.
I'm at @lawmance_ on the Twitter. I have a Facebook and an Instagram, but you can't know it because it's private.
That's it. We're going to get John Cena armbands and shit of that too made. Not just shirts. You'll see. It's coming.
Fuck yeah.
By the way, get over there, unionsmack.bigcartel.com. I'm always fucking slipping. I always forget to plug my own goddamn store. Get your official Hibiki TMD reset button. All the shows, more coming this year. Look for new alternative shirts. This show, all brand new shirts coming this year. And the official Hibiki TMD shirt right now, half off. And my co-host Matt on Union Smack's official Undertaker book, A Trip Down Death Valley, intro by yours truly, right now over there, unionsmack.bigcartel.com. And as always, on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. Once again, that red button right down below. Hit it, subscribe right here on YouTube for all the goddamn motherfucking goodness. Retro gaming, pro wrestling, heavy metal podcasts, nerdy gaming streams, and everything in between. Until next week, we'll see you then. Major League Podcast, Other End.